Today I'd like to show you 3 fun ways to eat candy buttons. The topic of candy button eating styles has been covered by Mr. Randall XKCD, but I'd like to expand his categorization to include a few more nerdy styles. I always like to eat my candy buttons along the long rows instead of going across because it seems more efficient for quick consumption. You might be wondering why I'm smearing glue all over this strip of candy buttons. This is so that I can make a double-sided strip. 6 long rows total, which I could glue into a loop, still 6 rows, or I could give it a half twist to make a Mobius strip. Here's where I'm checking to see whether this glue is non-toxic. Anyway, I'm gonna let that dry and show you a different way first. If you take a normal strip and loop it the normal way, it's got 3 different rows. That means after you eat the first row, you have to switch over to the next, and that's not optimal. Shift it a little, though, and the first row spirals into the second. You can eat the entire strip of buttons just by following one row straight. You can also do this with the shorter rows, though it's a little tricky. Okay, second way. Pick one side and one row of your Mobius strip and eat along it until you get around the loop. Curious thing about Mobius strips, you seem to have somehow eaten some of the buttons on the other side of the paper. You can try it again, starting with the row on the other side, and find yourself left with only the middle row of both strips of dots. But there isn't 2 rows left to eat, the way there would be if the paper was glued into a loop with no twists, and when you're done with that row, you find you've eaten all the candy buttons from both sides, or rather, from one side, because there's no both. The Mobius strip only has one side. But this is supposed to be how to eat candy buttons like a recreational math musician, so let's get to the music. Fold over the top edge and bite the paper after the first row. Hold the paper firmly between your teeth. Use one hand to stretch it out, and stretching more or less will change the pitch. Then use the back of your nails to play the buttons. Here's Mary Had a Little Shoop. Is that an encore I hear? Well, if you insist. Next I'll play the seasonal masterpiece, Jingle Bells.